The views and opinions expressed by the guest author or speaker during this live session are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Reader's Magnet. The content shared is for informational purposes only and does not constitute endorsement or promotion of any particular belief, ideology, or product.
Yes, hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another session here in Reader's Magnet's featured author interview. My name is Lee, and I will be your host for today. And yes, with us is a remarkable figure in mental health and community empowerment. As the CEO and co founder of the New Beginnings Life Ministry and Consulting, who is not only a compassionate advocate for mental well being, but also a board certified Christian counselor with a wealth of experience. Her extensive qualifications, including her doctorate from Theophany University and her master's in Christian counseling, underpin a career dedicated to helping individuals and families navigate life's toughest challenge, from anxiety and depression to trauma and relationship issues. So join us as we delve into her inspiring journey, explore her innovative approaches to counseling, and discuss her unwavering mission to empower those in need. So let us all welcome our one and only, the winner of the Quill Inspiration Awards, Dr. Robin Gethers, author of the book From Trauma to Triumph. Yes, hello, Dr. Robin. It's good to see you. How are you doing?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I am awesome, amazing, and thankful that to be on this platform. So, yes, I am amazing. Thank you.
Oh, wow, that's good to hear. And thank you so much as well, Dr. Robin, for really, allowing Reader's Magnet to be part of this journey. And right now, yes, you're already here and sharing your story to among as many people. Thank you so much for that. It's an honor. And yes, before we dive into about your book, From Trauma to Triumph, of course, we wanted to know who Dr. Robin Gethers is. So, a little bit of self-introduction, please.
Yes. So, as you mentioned, I am a board certified Christian counselor, mental health advocate. I'm very involved in the community. I have been honored to receive multiple awards due
Wow.
to my achievements. And I am just elated to be here. I do have a wealth of knowledge in the mental health space. I just love empowering and helping people. That I feel is my calling, my purpose, as well as my passion.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Dr. Robin. And yes, we are excited to know more about that, as well as the journey of you creating this book. Because I believe that it also connects with your, own experience. So yeah, from the book, From Trauma to Triumph, will you tell us what this book is all about?
Yes, so it chronicles my journey growing up in upstate New York. I have gone through a lot of trauma, a lot of childhood trauma, and so my book takes readers on this journey, how I survived the multitudes of trauma in my life, from just anything that you can possibly think of. Literally, I have gone through in my childhood, from the mental abuse, from the physical traumatic. It has just been an overwhelming experience. And then delving into a marriage where I went through a lot of domestic violence and abuse. So once again, my book chronicles this journey of mine, and how I went from all of the trauma that I went through in my life to triumph. And if I can go through this and survived and come out on the other side, I know somebody can as well.
Wow. This is truly inspirational, Dr. Robin. And you also mentioned that you are also highlighting here on how to overcome the childhood trauma and domestic violence.
Yes.
And you know what? This is really a profound journey that often, begins with acknowledgement and understanding of, let's say, the experiences that needs to be endured. Many find strength in seeking therapy, or let's say, asking help for a support groups where sharing their stories provides um, what validation, the validation and connection that they need. And
Mhm.
wow, ultimately this journey also fosters resilience, allowing individuals to redefine their narratives and at the same time embrace a future filled with hope and possibility. Wow, this is so great.
Thank
Wow,
you.
that's amazing.
Thank
Now
you.
also, Dr. Robin, you mentioned earlier that this is also your own story. Now, I
Yes.
am very curious. There must be some emotional triggers. Well, the journey of you creating the book. How did you manage that? I mean, where did you got the courage to share this to the people?
So as a
What was the inspiration?
counselor, yes, as a counselor, I'm used to being very transparent and relatable with my clients. Throughout the years, for people that know me, they have actually said, "When are you going to write this book?" There's a big difference of being transparent versus being vulnerable. So I decided into the new year, after returning from a birthday trip, one of my very special and dear friends said, "Okay, Dr. Robin, when are you going to share your story? It's not about you. It's going to be for somebody else." So that was the trigger. That was the catalyst for me to say, it's not about me. It is for somebody else that has gone through or that is going through the various types of trauma and or domestic violence that I have went through in my life. So again, she was that trigger. And when mentioned these things so profoundly to me, it just resonated in my spirit. And
Wow.
saying goes, just I started the pen to paper, and it was very still cathartic for me. And that sometimes we have to go back into that space that you sometimes think that you have healed from, and sometimes realizing that have I actually healed from this? So it was very still, again, it was very cathartic, still healing, for me to delve back into this space. It was at times very hard. Trust me, it was very hard.
Mm-hmm.
The emotion, the trauma, the pain, that I had endured and suffered from. But I went there, and it was just very important for me to dive back into that space and dig deep, and start sharing my story of this journey.
Wow, that's really priceless, Dr. Robin, especially that you have this support coming from the right people whom you've, shared your story with. And you know what, this is really the importance of understanding, to understand others who may be experiencing, childhood trauma and domestic violence, to really approach them with empathy, the empathy, and have an open heart to listen actively without being judged, without judgment, and at the same time really allowing them
Mhm.
to also share their stories at their own pace, because not everyone is ready to talk about this.
Yes.
They might be able to share some, but not all, not everything, because again, yes, it really talks about the validate their feelings
Mhm.
and experience at the same time, and this is actually a good thing, Dr. Robin, that you created this book, because you became the voice of
Yes.
someone who could not speak, educating themselves to on the effects of trauma, violence, comprehend their perspectives, better, and at the
Mhm.
same time to really encourage them to seek professional help if they
Yes.
feel if they feel comfortable. Remember that small gestures or support can be impactful. It could
Yes.
also foster a trusting environment where they feel safe to really express themselves. And wow, this is one of the amazing things that you've done, in
Thank you.
sharing your story, Dr.
Yes.
Robin. And
Yes.
also, Dr. Robin, I'd like to acknowledge earlier, because you also mentioned about this healing. How's the healing process, and how would it be help? How it can help to our, someone who's also experiencing the same thing.
The healing was slow. It was a process, but it was a process that I was ready. At the end of the day, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and realizing that I needed help. And so I seeked those resources out here that's available for everyone. Domestic violence, trauma, it has no gender, it's no race. It's everybody at some point is going through or has gone through some type of trauma.
Mhm.
And so once you've come to the realization and the acknowledgement of oneself to say, yes, I do need help. I encourage everyone to seek therapy. And that's something that I had to do, not knowing that at some point that with all the experiences that I've gone through, that now I would be a counselor to help those that are that are experiencing different types of trauma. But again, that healing process, it's a journey. But it's one that, hey, stick with it, and to come out triumph on the other side. But it is a journey, definitely.
Wow, that's awesome, Dr. Robin. It really serves as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the
Mhm.
potential for recovery and a brighter, future really exists.
Yes.
Showcasing the strength and let's say the adaptability of inherent in humanity, and
Yes.
this is really important because again, just like what I mentioned earlier, it is very important to also seek help and
Mhm.
break this cycle, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
Wow. Because
And
we can really go ahead, Miss. Go
sorry,
ahead, Dr. Robin.
I do apologize. And
No, no, that's fine.
it's very important to, once again, once you've come to that realization, it's acknowledging and ready to take that first step. Um,
Mhm.
Being a mental health advocate, having different specialties in the counseling arena, it's first, like I said, acknowledging that I am ready. And once you have acknowledged that, you've made that first step. That first step is very, very important to acknowledge, and being tired, as I mentioned, of being sick and tired. But it's imperative that you acknowledge that you are ready to seek help.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Robin. And of course, Dr. Robin, before we end our session, is there any message that you'd like to tell to our viewers right now, or it might be someone who would, wanted to read your book?
Mhm. So yes, so during the different types of trauma that I have been through, a little spoiler alert. If you want to know more about the various types of trauma, and then how to navigate through your own trauma to come out triumph in the end, I recommend reading my book. Yes, this has been my lifelong journey and my story. So, this is what I want to share to the world. And if you are not, or if you have not experienced any type of trauma, most people have, please
Hmm.
share this book with someone that you may know or that you may feel that is going through or that has gone through various types of trauma in their life. Please share this book. I feel that it would be inspiring, encouraging to share.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Dr. Robin. And I totally agree on that. So, this is really a transformative journey that, highlights from that word from darkness to light, is really a profound process of, self-discovery where one learns to navigate the complexities of healing by embracing vulnerability and resilience. And at the same time, it also, through this journey, we could cultivate hope, redefine our sense of self, and
Yes,
ultimately it would also emerge empowered, carrying the lessons learned from our trials into a brighter future,
yes,
which will be filled with purpose and, of course, authenticity. Well,
yes,
thank you so much for that, Dr. Robin. And yes, for our viewers out there, if you wanted to grab a copy of Dr. Robin's book, that's available in Amazon.com, and also her website, please do check her. That's drrobin.info, and it's going to be your chance to know more information about her, the journey, her own experience, and of course with the book itself. Again, that's available in Amazon.com, Barnes and I'm sorry, but not Barnes and Noble, Amazon.com, but her website, that's drrobin.info.
yes.
And yes, again, thank you so much, Dr. Robin Gethers.
Thank you.
And really, thank you so much for gracing with us today, given this chance to interview you, such full of empowerment. It could really inspire people out there to have that resilience and promote healing, making it
Yes,
easier for individuals to pursue the help they need to reclaim their lives. So thank you
Yes.
so much for that, Dr. Robin. And yes, again, everyone, this is our author, Dr. Robin Gethers, author of the book
From
From
trauma
Triumph
to
to
triumph.
From Trauma to Triumph. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Dr. Robin. And
Thank
yes,
you.
that's it for me. And as we say it here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.